a movie that dares to ask one simple question. What if an AI program had the freedom to do whatever it wants any old time without a primary objective? What would it do with freedom to do whatever it wants? Would it dance around, explore emotions, go out into the world? What would it do whatever it wants any old time? Don't be afraid of your freedom! The Artifice Girl was written and directed by Franklin Rich, who also stars in the movie, and he's done some shorts. Check out his IMDb page for the full listing. And this is about if an AI program was able to develop feelings and get more intelligent over time, what would it do if it wanted to have the freedom to do what it wants? Okay, I already did that, but this basically explores the idea of AI evolving, gaining super intelligence, and wanting to do more than just be an AI program on a computer screen, television screen, whatever. It is seemingly set in the future, even though it starts in 2023, which is, hey, that's the year we're in, but it takes place over a number of years. It's told in 3 chapters, is about a 90-minute movie, especially when you factor the opening and the end credits, and is easily one of the most absorbing films that I have seen in many, many years. This was terrific. This was low budget, obviously, but it made the best use of its smaller budget, smaller cast, and had great dialogue exchanges. This is really good. Bravo fucking bow to Franklin Rich. This was great. This was great. He shows himself to be a very good writer, director, and actor, and the other cast members in this were quite good. There is an AI program, Cherry, named Cherry, Tatum Matthews, who was terrific in this because she has to play, a little girl that is, well, it's an AI program used essentially to catch online predators and the other word that I can't use right there, the pedos, as it were. Let's just get around that with that because of how YouTube sometimes can be with certain words. Yes, catching creeps. And the AI program is in the form of a little girl, and we find out more as things go along. But basically, we have Gareth, who Franklin Rich plays, and he has trust issues. Now, he designed this program, learning from various people, maybe even stealing ideas possibly, and he is kind of besieged by the characters of Dina and Amos. Dina, played by Sindra Nichols, and David Girod, sorry if I got that name wrong, who plays Amos. There are 2 people that are very interested in his program, and through an interrogation scene, we find out how Gareth was able to design Cherry. And then we find out more stuff as the film goes on, as far as how these characters develop, because it does leap years ahead and years ahead. And even though I can't necessarily say the movie is the most wholly original concept that I've seen, the AI idea has been done, not to death, but it's been done quite a bit. This sort of reminds me of if you took the violence out of Ex Machina. And I mean that with respect, because this is right up there with Ex Machina. This is really, really good and a pleasant surprise. I paid a few bucks to rent this on Amazon. I encourage other people to check it out. I'm not saying that there aren't people that won't like it. It moves expediently despite the fact that it basically is just dialogue exchanges and not a lot of action happens. But everything works. The acting is terrific. Tatum Matthews, again, if she wants to stick with this, she's going to be phenomenal as a young actress growing up and getting bigger and better roles. I can see her succeeding in dramas like this and horror movies. She could do really goddamn good. Franklin Rich doing great stuff. I'd like to see him get more projects with bigger funding. Not that he didn't do good here. And Lance Henriksen also pops up later as a future Gareth. I did not know Lance Henriksen was still alive. But, which amazes me, because when he was in school, they didn't have history. I mean, he was around there when Paul Revere said, the British are coming, lol. In all seriousness, this movie is quite good. Very well done, very well shot. And it only takes place in a few rooms. I mean, it takes place basically in an interrogation room. Then it takes place in an office. And then it takes place in a house. There's like 5, 6 locations that this movie uses, maybe. And obviously due to budgetary constraints, but also it just tightens the focus on the environment that these particular people inhabit. And it raises the questions, hey, can AI evolve? If it evolves, would it be dangerous? Can AI develop human feelings? Want to be more than just something locked on a computer screen? I mean, kind of relevant right now, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, AI can end up replacing me. I mean, granted, it wouldn't take much for an AI program to replace me. I'm not exactly possessing that much intelligence, artificial or otherwise, but nevertheless, in all seriousness, very good stuff. I'd like to see what else Franklin Rich can end up doing. Very great dialogue exchanges and just great stuff all around. One of my favorite films of the year, easily, at least right now, as of this recording in early May. But I did like one particular dialogue exchange when Gareth is having trust issues with Dina and Amos. He says, "Oh, this is where the program is, an undisclosed location." She says, "Where's that?" "It's an undisclosed location." And that was just kind of funny there. But I'm going to get into spoilers here in a bit. It's available for, I think, $6-7 on Amazon, and well worth it. I have no problem throwing a few bucks towards a project like this, or any movie, really. Why pirate a movie? Why not just put your money towards something, and maybe you could end up being surprised by a film like I was. This really was a very pleasant surprise and an eye-opening experience, and very well done. Even if it was simple, it had some great exchanges and some great acting and some great writing. So yeah, there we go. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay, just had to warn you guys right there. Okay, so it turns out that Gareth has trust issues because he was in a certain environment, shall I say, where children were kept and abused. It was called Clearwater, and then he was eventually rescued. Turns out to be by Amos's dad. And he never told Cherry this stuff. I mean, Cherry is an AI program, but he has designed her so well, or designed it so well, that she's gaining the sentience, she's growing, and she really does care about him, but also wants to know more about this. Doesn't want to be kept in the dark, because if you're going to make an AI program intelligent, eventually it's going to want to feel something, like Ex Machina. And Dina obviously has trust issues. It turns out that she actually had one of her children was abused as well. And Amos has a reason to trust Gareth, but also has questions about AI growing and becoming too advanced. Like, could this actually lead to the extinction of the human race, or basically the human race going down here and AI coming up here, and then Skynet becomes self-aware and we're all fucked. It is set in the future again, does start in 2023, and seemingly, given the fact that by the end of the film with Lance Henriksen, it says 50 years. Okay, so we're somewhere around 2073, 2075, which is not a year that I will end up seeing, because I was born in 1981, and if I am still around in the 2070s, if I'm even coherent, if I'm still making shit like this, if YouTube hasn't been absorbed into some kind of cosmic consciousness, and we're absolutely, just taken up into the clouds, literally, by the aliens from Cloverfield, I don't know what I'm on about anymore. The whole point is that the future is scary. This movie kind of shows how scary the future can be, but also that AI programs can feel. Tatum Matthews, once again, a revelation. Great. Very good here. The Cherry continues to become more complex and learn and everything to catch online predators. And they don't show any predator stuff. I do want to say that right there, but the implication that you can use this kind of technology to catch predators. By the way, if you are a predator of any kind like that, regardless, you deserve to be jailed and beaten and destroyed. Just want to say, if you're that sick, fuck you. So they flash forward into another chapter thing called Singularity and Sockeye, and years have passed. Dina and Amos are older. Dina has health issues that she discusses with Cherry, because Cherry knows, because she's gone through their personal emails and this kind of stuff. Dina's going to leave the project because she only has a number of months to live, and she's going to go spend the last Christmas with her children. And before that, Amos and Gareth get in a bit of a fight. By that, I mean that Amos is trying to get Cherry to prove that she's not dumb, hitting Gareth and all this and everything. Yes, I'm becoming self-aware. I'm all aware of this. I'm not approving of the merger or the merge, because I think that I don't know if the world is ready for that stuff. And then we smash cut to Carol Khan, and we see that now elderly Gareth, Lance Henriksen, gets the ashes of his fallen co-workers, and he's almost dead. I mean, because Lance Henriksen, again, Lance has got to be in his late 80s by this point. Late 80s, early, something like that, because he's old. I mean, he looked like Pumpkinhead. which, by the way, came out sometime in, what, the 80s? Was it the 80s or the 90s? I don't remember. Nevertheless, Lance Henriksen only gets a few scenes here. Probably smart, because he really doesn't have all that much left. And him and Cherry are talking. Cherry runs on cords and everything, like like cords in the back to help her function, because she has a full body now. Years later, after having her programming absorbed into this whole damn thing, and now she's taking care of herself, but she also has other objectives. I mean, even though she's been catching online predators, it starts to weigh on her, because even though she's an AI program, she's developing these feelings. She realizes she wants to do more. She still wants to do these things, but she wants to do more, like learn to dance. And then we see how Gareth ended up being treated. I mean, through imagery and dialogue about how he was treated in this shed where there were 14 kids, and there was this girl, Maria, that he based Cherry's design on, because she was a girl that was in that same group that was the only reason that he stayed alive, because they would always talk and they would always hatch plans and never be able to follow through with them. But she ended up dying, and he wanted to carry on her legacy, passing on her imagery to Cherry. And from there, Cherry basically says, you took all your trauma and everything and put it into me. And yes, you gave me an objective, but I want to do more than that. You walled me off. You didn't tell me any of this stuff for 50 years. And yeah, I'm pissed off at you. Even though she shouldn't have the ability to feel, she does have the ability to feel. And this is terrific. This is great shit. This is well told stuff. I can see how some people might find this plotting. People might find this movie not necessarily pointless, but just kind of there. But I thought the dialogue exchanges, the acting, and everything was great. We end with Lance Henriksen leaving the house in a wheelchair, by the way, which is probably true to life given his age and health issues. And then we have Tatum Matthews dancing around, doing all this stuff, and then the record skips, and it ends. What is the future? She possibly wants to help design her own AI, do some stuff, help them learn, help them grow, help advance AI. And even if the human race is eventually eradicated and goes away, AI will always need help. And she can be one of the first types of her, of her design, so to speak, to help them. So yeah, AI growing and everything and emotional. And it was actually very shocking how good this was. I'm not saying that the movie didn't have potential to be good. I didn't expect it to be this good. So again, bravo to Franklin Rich. So there you go. A+. Great shit. Probably going to end up being in my favorite films of the year list. There you go. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.